Okay, so in the last video we looked at testing one particular component right here. The test that we created in the previous case was kind of in isolation where the user service exists in isolation independently because we created it using the user service. But it's not the same way it is happening in the browser environment. In the browser environment, if you take a notice, it's being dependency injected. Now, can we actually do a dependency injection in the component as well? Of course, I mean, the answer is yes. And then we'll just write a new test case, which we'll be using, the user service through dependency injection. That's all that we're going to do right in this case. So I'm going to type in here user service and user and component are same. I mean, we're testing it through DI, dependency injection. And I'm going to write ES6 syntax function right here. And I'm just going to do the same thing, obviously. Now the only difference, of course, is that instead of using a new keyword to generate the object, I'll be using fixture. Now, remember, fixture has been already created for you. Now we will go through this once again, what we had discussed, right? So there is before each, there is in async fashion, right? Just consider asynchronously, somebody is actually creating a component environment for you. So this is more like a module we've discussed, and the declarations we have are user component. Now we are creating the user component instance right here using the fixture, and then we can definitely use so this is just kind of creating a fixture. But if you really need a component instance, like a live instance, then we fixture dot component instance. So the fixture already exists. It's not a live instance, but it's kind of an environment that really you have your component. And then detect changes is meant for uh, the change detection mechanism that runs in the uh, Angular. I mean, though it's a little difficult concept, but and we'll not be kind of discussing this here again, but just to give you a little update on this. So some events, when they really are fired, right, change detection mechanisms run. So change detection really is, suppose you have a parent component and the parent component's input values changes for some reason, so the child components will have to update, right? That's what change detection mechanism is. So it's just kind of giving an extra information on, like, detect the changes, like some event has happened where change detection has run, and change detection is the thing that really runs everything in Angular. Possibly we'll see this and come back to this again. Now, so user service will create it using the fixture because component is injecting it, right? So I'm going to type in here fixture dot debug element. This is what we are going to use, because we'll have a element to debug. That's what I can really call it, right? And then I'll just use injector. Now injector is a service that really does dependency injection in Angular, and I'll just type in here get method to get me the user service instance. So you notice it's just the same thing, just that we are doing it using the fixture. And then I'm going to do the same call here. So expect the component name. So component instance again, and to equal user service dot user dot name. Now let's just see if this is going to run for us. So I'll get back into the UI. It says user component service, and the names are same, basically using the DI as well. So just a different approach, but I think this should give you more clarity on why we did this. Now let's see the date change detection mechanism. If I just kind of comment this right here, let's see what happens here. And something fails right here. In fact, both the classes have failed because the dependency injection never really runs in the you know uh, in the component. So this is never executed. What I'm trying to say. So basically you have an environment ready. You have a service instance which is in isolation. You have a component instance in isolation. But you have to simulate this browser environment, and that's what is happening here in this spec file. So I mean, you might have a component instance here, you might have created a service, right? But they have to work as dependency injection. So when you fire change direction, right, I mean detect changes, it's kind of an explicit way of doing it, and then everything is all right. So remember, it's not going to run unless you have the detect changes method going on for you. Now, I think we just need to change the component a bit because we'll need more testing stuff in the application, right? So what I'll do is I'll just go to the HTML part. We'll just do some bit of testing with HTML. At least we'll prepare it in this video. So I'll just use a div here. Create a paragraph saying welcome user, and just like to get the username. As of now, it's name, right? And create another div over here. We'll have another paragraph. We'll just have logged in user is this, and then log out from here, and then you are not logged in. Log in here, something like that. And then we'll have in the component right here, we'll have a boolean property. Let's say we'll maybe logged in as a boolean value, right? And we'll take a decision on this whether to display the first HTML or the second one. So let's type in here ng if when the user is logged in, then display this, and when the user is not logged in, do this. So I think this is the component that we're going to be looking out to test. And just one change that I would want to make here is, so we have a different organization in the service and then this method. So the service has a user dot name. Let's just make them kind of a similar thing in TS. So I'm going to convert this name into a user object, right? So it's a user is going to be an object which will contain a name like property, right? Something like that. And so this becomes this dot user dot name, and now the testing of course will all break, so I'll have to type in user dot name everywhere. And that's what happens, right? When you have the test cases, right? Even if you change your functionality, you just continue to test it according to your your changes as well. So this must be done, test-driven development. And what is wrong now? This is cannot read name of undefined and cannot read name of undefined. So something went awfully wrong right here. Name of undefined. That means this is being undefined as of now. So component has a name, user string, login values. This is all right. And I'm possibly using here HTML as well. I'll just use user.name. And now this boils down to the spec. So spec is now creating a user service, which must give us user service.user.name. And then this should be giving us component.user.name. Now the thing is, like, where is it happening? So we'll go down to TS, and I think it's happening right here. So what's the issue? Let's see. So well, again, last 3 test cases have failed right here. Let's just see them. So every time I'm just looking out for a component, right? That's kind of failing here, right? And all right, so I think I'll just fix this up in the next video where we are going to, fix and do the next step, which is test the HTML stuff right here. That is something that we haven't really done in testing so far. So see you there.